I'm Amanda. I'm thinking today we're going to do some hips. So I don't know about you all, but I have some stuff going on. Nothing wrong, just ready to open them up. So go ahead and join me in a comfortable seated position. Peel the flesh away from the sitting bones and just walk the hands out. So getting into the hips, you don't have to be in a full lotus. You can just keep your legs crossed and just walk the hands forward. You're working to keep the sitting bones down and work the stomach down. Doesn't matter, a lot of people try to get the forehead all the way down. You don't have to do that. Just try to keep the spine long. Breathe. Keep it lengthening. And then walk the hands back in and just switch the grip or switch the ankles. So you can go into full lotus, crossing the ankles, or just a comfortable, almost like Indian style position, and then walk it forward again. Keeping the hips down, working the back as flat as possible. Breathe deeply. And then walk the hands in. Uncross your legs. Roll over the feet and come onto your toes. So in order to open up our feet, in order to open up our hips, we want to start with the feet. So tuck your toes under, take a look behind you. Even that little pinky toe is touching the floor and you're working to get into that space. Allowing the weight to settle into the heels. So the hips are reaching towards the heels and you're really working to sink. The more you hold this and the more you open up the bottoms of the feet, perhaps your knees will start to inch forward. You may just be at your max and then just breathe through it. See if you can soften your shoulders, your jaw, everything as you sit and settle and open up the bottoms of your feet. So if we have any hope of opening up our hips, it starts right here. Oftentimes especially in closed-toed shoes, holding flip-flops, gripping, all that, we don't even realize how much our feet are working and they need to be stretched out just as much as everything else. If it's challenging for you right now to stay here, see if you can focus on patience and just breathe through it. If you need to come out and take a break, you can. But I would encourage you to try to sit here for just 2 more deep, long breaths. So connecting to that Ujjayi breath, breathing deeply through the back of the throat. Keeping your focus on your breath, using that as a way to deal with any of the sensations that are coming up physically. We're here for 1 more breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Slowly walk it forward. Kind of point and flex. Circle out the ankles. Wiggle those toes. Maybe tap out the tops of the feet. And then go in the other direction. So you're working to keep your feet flat. The natural way is that your heels are going to want to kind of sickle out. See if you can keep your feet square so your heels are rolling in. And then sit down. Now for me, I'm not getting much of a stretch in my shins and the tops of my ankles. So if you need more of a stretch, option is to lean over for one leg, or you can bring both hands next to the quads and lift both knees. It's also getting a little core strengthener there. Again, be mindful of where the ankles go. You don't want them rolling out. Try to roll them in towards one another. Breathe deeply. If you're on one side, go ahead and switch. And then slowly lower down. Walk the hands forward. Drop to the elbows. So the forearms are parallel with the sides of the mat. Fingers spread. Straighten the legs for plank on the forearms. Breathing deeply, can you tuck the tail forward? Reach forward through the crown of the head and back through the heels. Rolling the inner thighs up so your legs are engaged, they're strong. Keep pushing down to lift up through your shoulders. Good, and then lift the hips, coming into a down dog on your forearms. So you're going to start to walk your toes in towards the elbows. Sink the heels down and lift the hips up and back. Let your head just hang. Maybe even shake it a little, up and down, side to side, just kind of making sure there's no tension in the neck. Keep spreading through the fingers, reaching back out of the shoulders. Breathe. And then walk the toes out, coming into that plank again. So plank on your forearms. Naturally, your elbows probably want to splay out. See if you can keep them in. Almost like you had a giant rubber band around your elbows, keeping them close to one another. One more breath. Inhale. And then exhale, just sink the hips, coming into Sphinx pose. Point the toes. Roll the pubis bone into the mat and draw the shoulders back. Gazes forward. And breathe. Just a nice, gentle back bend. See if you can soften the glutes. Oftentimes we kind of try to hold on to the butt cheeks. Not necessary. Inhale. And exhale, lower the chest. Bring the hands under the shoulders, tuck the toes, and in one straight, strong movement, come up to plank. If that's not going to happen in a straight, strong movement, you can use your knees, come up to your knees, and then lift up, or come all the way up. Good, and then exhale, back down dog. Feet are hip width apart. Just kind of pedal out the feet, bending one leg at a time. Spread through the fingers, grounding the roots of the index finger. So oftentimes our hands lift in the down dog and we shift all of our weight to the outer edge of our hand, adding extra pressure in our wrists. So see if you can keep grounding this. Your hands are your foundation. Keep grounding through your hands, rooting down, especially that index finger knuckle. And then can you spread, reaching the thumbs towards one another. Exhale a little bit deeper. And then inhale, plank. If this is challenging, you drop to your knees. It's a modified plank. It's all good. You can do that. Otherwise, can you reach forward through the crown of the head, back through the heels? Inhale, broaden. Exhale, slowly, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe. Walk the hands to the feet, coming to the back of the mat. Feet are hip width apart, heels slightly turned out. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Soften the knees slightly and exhale, fold. Grab opposite elbow. And keep softening the shoulders away from the ears, working your stomach towards those legs. Release the elbows. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up, look up. Exhale, lower the hands, Tadasana. Good, keep your feet hip width apart. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, walk it out to plank. Inhale, broaden through the shoulders. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale out. And exhale back. Lift the right leg, keep the hip closed and the foot flexed, reaching back through that heel. Knee into the nose, shoulders forward, hover. Lunge the right foot in between the hands. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge. So you're in a nice wide stance, getting low through those hips. Pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward. Palms come together to heart center, left elbow to the outside of the right knee for a twist. Inhale, lengthen, reach forward. Exhale, twist. If it's tricky and you're wobbly, you can lower the back knee. These are always options. If not, you can lift it. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Keep pushing into that bottom hand so you're not sinking into the bottom shoulder, but rather you're lifting up. Keeping the thumbs to the center of your chest. One more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Good, unwind, hands to either side of the foot, step back, plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up, and exhale back. Other side, lift the left leg, keep the hip closed, the foot flexed. Sinking the right heel towards the floor. One more breath. Lengthen through both legs, knee into the nose, shoulders forward, hover. And then using your core, lunge the left foot in between the hands. Back knee can lower down, or keep it lifted. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge. Pulling that left hip back, right hip forward, get lower. Keeping the breath calm and steady throughout every pose, every transition. Inhale. Exhale, the palms to heart center, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Keep straightening that back leg if it's lifted. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. Being mindful you're not sinking into that bottom shoulder, keep lifting up. One more, inhale. And exhale. Good, unwind, hands to either side of the foot. Keep your shoulders forward, step back to plank. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. Exhale back, down dog. Lower to the knees for a nice child's pose. Big toes touch, knees are about the width of the mat. Hands are reaching out in front. So if at any point at home you feel like the breath is getting choppy, you feel like sometimes you're gonna pass out, you know, there's lots of things that happen when we roll out our mat. So give yourself permission to take a break. A break would be this child's pose. So let's all do it, even if you don't feel like you need one quite yet. Go ahead and just take a nice child's pose. Not only is it a break, but it's a nice hip opener. So keep pushing the hips towards the heels and lengthen through the spine, working the chest in between the legs. Keep softening the shoulders away from the ears and walk the hands over to the left. Coming way off your mat, reaching with the right fingertips and pushing the right hip towards that right heel. And the more you kind of reach with your right hand and you can push into your left hand to help push that right hip towards the heel, you're going to feel it stretch out that whole side, that whole lat. One more breath. Good. Walk the hands forward and then over to the other side. Again, reaching with your left hand, and then the more you push into your right hand and kind of roll that left hip towards the heel, you're going to feel it really stretching out that side a whole lot more. One more breath. Good, back to center. Lengthen forward. See if you can find a bit more space just after that simple move. And then spread through the fingers, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. In the down dog, can you sink the heels so much that you're able to lift your toes? Turn the left heel in. Lunge the right foot forward. Inhale, arms up, crescent lunge. Warrior one. Pulling the right hip back, the left hip forward, get a little bit lower. Spreading through the fingers, shoulders drawing down the back. Exhale, warrior two. So hips are now open to the left side. Keep pulling your left hip back. The right knee is working towards the right pinky toe. Arms are out wide. Lengthening like someone's pulling your arms away from one another. Gaze is just over that front middle finger. Get a little bit lower. Good, and then flip the right palm. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, exalted warrior. Back to warrior two. Right elbow to the inside of the knee, left arm up. Getting lower through those hips. As you set up your side angle, turn that top palm to face forward, reach up over the ear. Even if you can lower to the floor, even if you can wrap and bind, resist doing that right now. See if you can make this pose about lifting your left inner thigh. Not to lift your hips up, keep bending the right knee, but engage that left inner thigh and see if you can feel it probably more through your right hip, your left hip if you're doing it properly. One more breath. Good, and then going into your deepest expression. So if you want to work to the floor, if you want to wrap and bind, those are options. Otherwise, stay where you are. Keep bending that right knee. If you have the wrap and you want to get into the hamstring, you can do that too. Keep spinning the left shoulder back. Chest is spinning towards the ceiling. One more breath. Good, unwind. Back to warrior two. Legs stay strong, they're not going to move. Good, straighten that right leg. Shorten the stance. Ground through the big toes. Inhale, reach towards the front of the room and tilt to triangle. Triangle is not about trying to reach towards the floor. Maybe in some practices it is, but right now in this vinyasa practice with me, see if you can make it about stacking yourself sideways. So you're actually going to tuck your right hip under, left hip on top. So you're trying to get your body, your hips and your shoulders as sideways as possible. If it's too much looking up at your left thumb, then look down. Breathe, soften the jaw. Good, inhale up to standing. Hands to the hips, shorten the stance. Spin the left toes forward. And then inhale, open up the chest, and exhale, fold. Keep pulling your right hip back as you fold over the right leg. Getting deeper into that hamstring. You can flex your front foot if you want a little more. Inhale, look out, lengthen through the front of the body, and exhale, fold. Let your head go. Keep grounding that back heel. If that heel's still lifted, you have to shorten your stance. Maybe you're just trying to walk towards the floor with your hands, or you can start to walk your hands towards your left foot. Breathe deeply. Exhale, fold. One more breath. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, walk the hands forward. Soften the right knee. Arms come out wide like wings. Start to reach towards the back of the room. So you're opening up your chest. Shift the weight into the right foot and fly for airplane. The hips are level. So you're working your left inner thigh to the right, flexing that floating foot. Reach back. It's a standing back bend. Lift a little bit higher. One more breath. You're working both legs as straight as possible. Hands to the top of the mat. Left foot to the ceiling, standing split. So right now my hips are open because it feels good in the psoas. That's okay. You can do that. Or for full pose, for full alignment, you can drop your left hip and keep your hip square. It's just going to get a whole different part of the hip. So now with my hip dropped, it's all in that IT band and the outer hip. When I open it up, it gets more into the core. So you choose what you need today. It's all good either way. Maybe you bring your right hand behind your right calf and keep working your chest closer to the standing leg. Let your head go. Lift that left foot a little bit higher. Maybe bend the leg, straighten it, and then bend both knees. Bring the left knee behind the right ankle for seated Ardha Matsyendrasana. So you get that left heel out of the way so you can drop the right hip. So both sitting bones, those little pokey bones that you sit on, are grounded into the floor. Ground the right big toe, and then right hand behind the back, left arm up. Inhale, lengthen, hook the elbow to the knee, and twist the torso. Gazes towards the back of the room. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, twist. Good. Unwind and just counter towards the left. Fold towards the floor. And inhale up. Setting up a nice double pigeon. Said we were gonna focus on hips, sorry. So flex your feet and bring your right knee on top of the left foot. So it's also called stacked log pose. You want your shins to be on top of each other. Keep your feet flexed, so your feet stay active to protect your knees. Most people keep this foot too close to your hip, so it's like a Indian style. That's how we started class. I don't want you to be there now. So you really want that bottom heel underneath that top knee. Keep flexing your feet. Now, I also said we were going to focus on feet. So, as an option, your left hand can interlace, so the fingers are going to go in between the toes. You're working webbing to webbing. The first time I ever did this, my teacher literally shoved my fingers in between my toes so much that I screamed in the middle of class. I was pissed. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? But I realized after that moment, after I stopped reacting, that I really needed it, and that my toes were so used to holding on to my, like I said, my flip-flops and being in closed-toed shoes that they were so jacked up. Really, I've never thought about this before, but your toes would like to move the same way your fingers do. So like I'm, doing one at a time, your toes are capable of doing that. We just kind of usually lose movement through them. And then we wonder why, as we get more progressed and get older, we can't walk. So poses like this, they're important. So keep working webbing to webbing. It's so good. If you want a little more hips and your knee is easily on top of that ankle, you can kind of use your right elbow and self-assist and kind of lean into that top leg. It might be too much. It might be too intense. I forgot to mention, but if this is too intense to sit up, because some people, your hips, you might look something more like this, it's okay. Yoga's for everyone. So if you're like that, just roll on your back and you're going to do this guy. Same shape, same hip opener. Just flexible people have to work a little harder to get the same stretch. That's all. One more breath. Enjoy this hip opener. Good. Release the fingers from the toes. Just kind of wiggle those toes. Notice if your feet feel completely different. Mine do right now. Don't worry, we're going to do the other side. So roll over the feet, shoot the legs back. Vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale back. Down dog is your active resting pose. So use this time to chill out, to breathe deeply, to keep lifting the hips, lengthening through the spine. And then other side. So turn the right heel in, lunge the left foot forward. Inhale, arms up, warrior one. Nice and deep into the left leg. The left hip is pulling back, the right hip is pulling forward. You're grounding the outer edge of the back foot. Shoulders pulling down. Get a little bit lower through that left leg. We're not here that long, so work it. And then open up to warrior two. Hips are now open, pulling that right hip back. Watching the left knee, keep turning it out. Gaze is over the front middle finger. Get lower, lengthen through those arms. Flip the left palm, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, exalted warrior. Gaze could be up or down, whatever's best for your neck today. One more breath. Good. Back to warrior two. Left elbow to the inside of the knee, right arm up. Again, if you're going for a wrap and for the floor, stay here for a few breaths. Make it about lifting, engaging that right inner thigh. You're going to feel it more through that whole right hip if you learn how to do that, how to access that. So keep bending the left knee and kind of get that dual movement. So you're bending the left knee forward and then you're reaching back through that right heel, helping to open up, peel that hip open. Turn the top palm to face forward, reach up over the ear, creating one straight line from the right heel to the right fingers. Good. Now you can go into your deepest expression. Might still be here, and then keep breathing. Or work to the floor, or again, you can wrap and bind. Maybe straighten that left leg a few times, getting into the hamstring. Keep pulling your right shoulder back, opening up the chest. One more. Good. Release the bind. Back to warrior two. Legs stay strong. It's just your upper body that moves. Good. And then give that quad a break. I know it's screaming. Straighten the left leg, shorten your stance. Arms out wide. Inhale, reach towards the front of the room and tilt to triangle. Stacking the right hip on top of the left. Grounding through the big toes. Working yourself as sideways as possible. One more breath. Good. Use your right hand. Keep reaching up with that right hand to help your upper body just kind of float and control yourself up. Good. Hands to the hips. Turn the right toes forward. Shorten your stance a bit. So you're pulling your left hip back. You're squaring your hips towards the front of the room. Ground through the big toes. Make sure both heels are down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the left leg. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Keep working that left hip back and fold. You can flex the foot. You can start to work your hands towards your back foot, wherever you're at. Just imagine that your stomach, your chest, is completely folded over that front leg. One more. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look out. Come up onto your fingers. Soften the left knee. Arms come out wide like wings. Reach towards the back of the room. Shift the weight into the left foot and fly for airplane. Floating foot is flexed. Working your right inner thigh to the left. Opening up the chest. Breathe. Keep working your toes towards the floor. That's going to help close your hip. One more breath. Good. Hands to the top of the mat. Right foot to the ceiling. Again, you can play with open or closed hips. Keep working the torso towards that standing leg. One more breath. Lift the right foot a little higher. And then bend both knees. Bring the right knee to the outer edge of the left ankle for seated Ardha Matsyendrasana. Wiggle the right heel out of the way so your left hip can be down. The left big toe is grounded, setting up that seated twist. Left hand behind the back. Right arm up. Inhale. Hook the elbow to the knee and twist. Inhale. Exhale, twist. One more. Inhale, lift. And exhale, twist. Good. Counter to the right. Fold towards the floor. And then inhale up. Setting up that hip opener. So you're going to wiggle that right heel forward, stacking shins on top of one another. Again, if you know that lying on your back is a better option for you today, then go for it. Make sure your shins are stacked, your feet are flexed and active, and then go ahead and work your fingers in between the toes, working that webbing to webbing. It's funny how one foot is tighter than the other. I have no idea why, but it's normal. So if you feel like your left foot is tighter, yep, I'm right there with you. You can start to lean forward a little bit more, maybe start to lean into that left knee, getting into the hips a little deeper. You'll know when it's too much, but see if you can continue to breathe to keep yourself calm. Two more deep, long breaths. Enjoy. And one more. Good. Release the fingers from the toes. Kind of just wiggle those toes out. Now they're equal. You're feeling balanced. Kind of scoot yourself back, roll over the knees, vinyasa. Inhale brings you up, and exhale brings you back. Lift the right leg and open up the hip this time. Keep sinking the left heel, working the legs as straight as possible. And then look forward and bring the right knee into the right tricep, hover and hold. Keep the foot high, so your foot's not just hanging. Can you lift it up? And then step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. We're setting up our lizard. So first option, stay here. Second option, if you wanted a little less active through the legs, you can lower the back knee. Keep your front ankle in line with your knee, so your shin is straight. A lot of people kind of look something like this, and then you're adding extra pressure into your knee. So make sure your ankle is directly under. If your hips are nice and open today and you want to get a little deeper into them, you can come to the forearms. But be mindful, if you do that and your knee starts to splay out like mine just did, you may have gone too far. I know I can do it, I just have to focus and keep hugging my right knee in. If you feel like it's too much, then come on back. Also a nice option if you're kind of in between is you have a block, a blanket, a pillow, something at home, you can just kind of lean into it to get halfway there. So keep grounding your right big toe, keeping the knee close into that right shoulder. Let your head just soften. And then come up onto the hands. This time you're going to roll to the outside of your right foot, opening up the knee to the side, probably what you naturally wanted to do all along. You can keep pushing your knee out for a little self-adjustment. If you still want more, you can reach around and grab the back foot. Another option to get into the toes, with the fingers in between the toes, or you can just bring the heel close into the hips. Keep working the right knee out and start to spin your chest towards your right leg. So you're probably feeling it all over the hips, the outer right hip, the front left hip flexor. Keep sinking the hips, getting lower. Good, release the back foot. Straighten the right leg. Half split. So some of you may want to go to full split. I know I grew up doing gymnastics and cheerleading, anything like that, you want to just work yourself as low to the floor, right? Well, I'm asking you to do something different today. So keep your back toes tucked under and keep your hips square. You're going to feel it in a whole different part of your hamstring when you do that. So keep pulling your right hip back. Keep your feet active. Your toes aren't turning out. They're actually facing the ceiling. And then inhale, look out, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Keep working the torso over your leg. If you're shaking, yep, that's me. And that just means you're waking all those little muscles up. All those little muscles you didn't even realize you had. Morning. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale a little deeper. Good. Look forward and just kind of work your way out of it. There's no real graceful way of getting out of this guy. But come up, bringing the foot in towards your hip, and then heel toe that right foot out. We're going into pigeon. Walk the hands in towards the hips, open up the chest, and then slowly walk it forward. If you've been practicing for a while and you feel as though pigeon has become kind of complacent and you're not really feeling it much in your hips, then you'll start to bring your right foot forward. So the more you work your front shin so that it eventually becomes parallel to the front of your mat, that would be full pose, full alignment, you're going to feel it a whole different way. I've actually gone too far for me right now, so I'm going to back out of it because I know I won't be calm if I walk it forward, and I certainly can't hold it for 10 breaths. So you'll know where your edge is at. You'll know what's a little too much. Play with that. Know if you can kind of work and half an inch, a full inch forward, or if maybe you need to back out of it. This is a pose we hold for a longer amount of time. So can you soften, melt, and enjoy? When we start to hold poses longer, I know it's challenging, and the to-do list really starts to go, right? When we're not moving fast and we actually have to hold stuff. So see if you can shut down all that. Whatever's later, if you have to go pick up the kids, if you have to cook dinner, all that stuff can wait. You're here on your mat. Can you be fully present and just feel and breathe and practice your yoga? Yoga is not about how flexible and strong we can get, but if we can be in the present moment, if we can be with ourselves and nothing else and be at peace. So see if you can practice that in this pigeon. We're here for one more breath. Walk the hands back in. Spread through the fingers. Push back to down dog with both feet down. The right leg is going to be straight. The left foot is bent. The left knee is bent. And just ground through the right heel. And then pedal out the feet. Lift the hips up high. And then lift the left leg. Open up that hip. Keep sinking the right heel. And then bend the knee. Bring the left knee into the left tricep, shoulders forward, hover. Get that knee high up. And then lightly lunge the left foot outside of the left hand. Setting up that lizard. Whatever you did last time. If you kept the knee lifted, then keep this one lifted. If you didn't, and you did what I did, maybe work your knee down. And if you're okay, and your left knee can stay in that left shoulder, then you'll work to forearms or anywhere in between that. Breathe deeply, let your head hang. Keep your ankle directly under the left knee. One more breath. Good. Come on up onto the hands. Roll to the outside edge of your left foot, opening up the knee to the side. So you're lifting your left foot. You can gently push the knee out, and again, you can reach around and grab your back foot. Getting into the toes. Keep pushing the right hip forward, the left knee to the side. And spin the chest towards the left leg. Breathe. Good. Release that back foot. And then straighten the left leg, left hand to the outside of the left foot for that half split. Full split, whatever you want to go to in keeping your left hip square. So again, you're not trying to get as low to the ground. You're actually working to pull your left sitting bone back. Keep the toes flexed, the toes towards the ceiling. Inhale, look out, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Keep working the torso over that front leg. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale, look out. Walk the hands in. Bring the left foot in. And then heel toe the left foot out for pigeon, other side. Again, your shin can work to be parallel or just make it wherever it's manageable. Instead of leaning over to the left side, that's what I see a lot of people do, you're really missing out on that right hip flexor. So keep your hips up, Keep your hips level and walk it forward.
Breathe deeply. So this side for me is way different. It's super tight. So if that's what you're experiencing right now, can you use your breath as a way to be that calm meditation where you're able to focus on the breath and not the physical sensations? Can you use the breath as a tool, a way to keep yourself calm no matter what's happening to you or around you? We can use this yoga as a way to keep ourselves calm, to learn how to not react to everything that seems to be happening. Two more deep, long breaths. Can you lengthen forward with the inhale and exhale a little deeper? Last one, inhale, lengthen. And exhale. Good. Slowly walk the hands in.
Push back to a down dog with both feet down. The left leg is straight, the right knee's bent. Lift the hips up and back, and then just kind of pedal out the feet when you're ready. Let's move through a vinyasa, getting the energy going. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale back. Turn the right heel in, lunge the left foot forward, and walk the hands to the center of the mat. So heels are out, toes in. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Walking the hands in between the feet. Shifting the weight into the toes and out of the heels. Working the crown of the head towards the floor. One more. Can you lengthen through the front body? And exhale, fold. Good. And then inhale, look forward, walk the hands forward. Bend the right knee and walk the hands over to the right foot. Flex the toes of the left foot and sink the hips. So you want the right heel down. Sometimes the Achilles tendon doesn't allow that, but sometimes it helps if you kind of just adjust your foot, and if you get it right in the right place, hopefully your heel can be down. So first option, you just stay light through your hands. Second option, hands can come together, or maybe you wrap and bind. Keep sinking the hips and pulling your left shoulder back. Breathe. One more. Keep turning the right knee out, opening up that inner thigh. Good. Release the bind. Hands can stay in heart center or just stay light on the fingers, as low and slow as possible. Shift to the other side. Be mindful of that ankle, making sure it's okay on your knee. And then flex the right foot, whatever you did last time. Keep using this left elbow, the arm, to push the knee out. One more breath. Good. Unwind, palms back together, and slowly just lower to the sitting bones. Keep the right leg straight, bring the left foot to the right inner thigh. Peel the flesh away from that right hip. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the straight leg for Janu Shirshasana. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Keep pulling your right hip back. You're working your torso over that straight leg. I find it helpful sometimes to push into my right hand, and it kind of helps to spin my right ribs back to pull my left ribs forward. So I'm even further square positioned over that right leg. Hopefully that makes sense. Inhale, look out. Exhale, fold.
One more. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale up.
Keep your right leg straight and flip the left heel to the outside of the hip. Bring your left knee forward. So you're hopefully pointing that left foot. Peel the calf so your calf gets out of the way. If this is really not happening and you have a block at home, you can sit up on your block and that's going to make it more accessible. Work to keep your knees as close together as possible. If you feel it in your knee rather than your quadricep, please don't do this. Just leave it out and you can just go back to Janyu and you'll get plenty through that. Otherwise, if this is comfortable on your knee, flex your right foot. You may just stay here. The idea is that we're getting in the left quadricep. If you're not, you might need a little bit more. So you can work to your forearms, or maybe you can come all the way down to reclining, to Supta. Full pose would be to grab opposite elbow above the head. And then once you get here, to feel it even deeper in the quad, you want to actually kind of pull the butt cheeks forward, kind of positioning the pelvis so that your pubis bone is rolling up and you're working to get your lower back, that natural arch that's happening right now, you're working to push that down, and I promise you'll feel it a lot more in your quad. Keep that knee down though. Sometimes it helps someone, if you have someone in the room with you, to like actually push on your stomach, and it helps too, but most of us don't have that right now. Keep breathing. And then slowly come up. Keep your right leg straight. Keep this leg as it is, and just open up the knee. So your legs are at a 90-degree angle. Kind of pull the flesh out from that right hip. We're setting up Parigasana gate pose. So the right shoulder is going to come to the inside of the right knee, left arm up and over. Grabbing for the outside of your right foot, maybe. Maybe you can't touch the foot, maybe a strap, a towel, something to kind of make it accessible, or just reach for your calf, your knee, it doesn't matter. If you want to go more and you're super flexy, your right hand can come under the left inner thigh and grab your ankle. And then you spin the chest up. So you're still working that right shoulder to the inside of the knee. Open up the heart. Breathe. Keep working the back of the head to the inside of the leg, pulling that left shoulder back. One more. This is super intense, super deep pose. Enjoy it. Good. Unwind. Other side. Let's just kind of bring the legs together first. Ooh. Shake out the legs. Good. And then straighten the left leg. Bring the right foot to the left inner thigh. Peel the flesh away. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold, Janyu Shirshasana. Again, I find it helpful. Use the left hand to kind of push. So you're squaring your torso more and more. Working your right shoulder closer. Inhale, look out, lengthen through the front body, and exhale, fold. Keep that foot active, notice. So my foot's doing it because I wasn't focused on it, where my outer edge of the left foot is actually turning in a little bit. So that tells me my inner thighs are tighter than my IT band, the outer side of my leg. So I have to work to pull that left pinky toe back to force my foot to be square. And now I'm feeling it in so many of these tiny little muscles that I didn't even know I had. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. So our yoga also helps us to get out of our habits. It helps us to become more aware of what we're doing physically, more aware of what we're doing mentally. Good. Inhale, come up. Keep the left leg straight. Flip the right heel to the outside of the hip. Your knees want to be close together. Peel that calf out of the way to be able to drop your right sitting bone. Your left foot's flexed, active. Again, you're mindful of where that knee is. This pose is not worth your kneecap, so please, if you feel it in your knee, back out or use a block. If you are comfortable and you want a little more, Again, you can go to your forearms or all the way to supta, reclining. And then if you're all the way in supta, can you work your tail down, your lower back down, and you're going to feel it a whole bunch more in that right quad. Breathe. Good. Inhale, slowly come up. Keep your left leg straight and just open up the right knee to the side. Peel the flesh out of the left sitting bone, and then left shoulder to the inside of the knee, right arm up and over. Grab the outside edge of your foot, your shin, whatever you got, and then again, you can go under your right inner thigh and grab your right ankle. Spin the chest up, pulling that right elbow behind the ear. Soften the jaw. It's funny when we realize where the tension is and then we can soften it. It's usually soft for like a millisecond and then it comes right back in. I went to a class last week and my teacher must have told me, just me, there were 40 people in the room, but somehow he was catching me holding my jaw. And he told me at least 5 times. I was like, gosh, how many times does he have to tell me? How come I don't get it yet? But then I went straight to that judgment of myself, so I had to check myself and just be patient and know that we're here rolling on our mats each and every day so we can learn how to do it better. Bring the right foot forward. Face the front of the mat. Just kind of shake the legs out. Peel the flesh away from the sitting bones. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold. Paschimottanasana. Inhale, look out, lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, look out, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Good. Inhale up. Fingertips behind the hips. The fingers are facing forward. Bend the knees. Feet are hip width apart. Lift the hips for bridge. Your gaze is forward. If you can't see your knees anymore and your hips are high enough and it's okay on your neck, then you'll look back. Lift a little higher. Good. Look forward. Send the hips through the hands. Keep your hips lifted as you send your hips in between your hands. Stay here. Nice core strengthener. Lift your right leg. Lower it. Lift the left leg. Lower it. See if you can lift both. Just for a hot second. Try it. The key is to keep breathing. Good. Let's cross the ankles and move through one last vinyasa. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale up. And exhale back. Look between the hands. Come high up under the toes. Walk or jump all the way through, lying on your back. Hug the knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side. Tuck the chin in towards the chest a little. And then let's end with a happy baby. So a modified, we're going to do one leg at a time. So bring your left foot down. Grab the outside edge of your right foot. Pull the knee into the armpit. Keep the ankle over the knee. So you're working that right knee to the outside of your right rib cage. It may not go quite to the floor, but work towards that direction. And then, if you can, it kind of helps to get a little more if you kick your left foot forward. Use that as kind of like a balancing act so that you can kick forward with the left foot and bring the right knee down. That might be too much. You'll know if it is. You might stay here or start to work your right shoulder behind the right knee. Keep kicking, the left foot forward. Some of you may want to start to work your head behind your foot, or your foot behind your head, I guess it is. You'll know if it's too much. If it is, back off. Good, and then release that foot. Lower the left foot. Hug the right knee into the chest. Excuse me. And then just take a gentle twist over to the left. Bringing that right knee over, working to keep your right shoulder down. Mine isn't, but just try to get it down. Breathe. Good. Unwind. Both feet down. Right foot stays where it is. Bring the left foot. Grab the outside edge of your foot, pulling your knee towards the floor. Stay here or start to kick that right foot forward. Breathe. The more you kick forward, the deeper you're going to feel it in that right hip flexor. You might stay here or start to work your left shoulder in front of your left knee and maybe bring the foot behind the head. Keep kicking forward with that right foot. One more breath. Good. Release the foot. Hug the left knee in, lower the right, and a gentle twist. Inhale and exhale. Good. Unwind. Really nice way to end. No need to do all those inversions and stuff at the end. Just let that be enough today. We did a lot of work, a lot of hip stuff. So let your hips just settle into the mat. Let your palms fall open, the feet flop out. Close your eyes. And just stay here for a few moments, allowing your body to absorb all the benefits of the hard work you just put in. Knowing that this is actually the most beneficial part of class, this Shavasana. This time where we do absolutely nothing. So just allow your Ujjayi breath to be free to completely let go of any control you have of the breath. And just allow the mouth to hang open, the jaw to soften. If there are noises from outside of the house or inside of the house, see if you can just shut them all down and know that you are completely uninterrupted on your mat if you choose. That you have a little bubble around you protecting yourself and an what's the word I'm looking for? Undisturbed time if you choose. That it doesn't matter if your dog has ran across you in the Shavasana or your kids are pulling your hair or whatever may be happening. It's your choice to see if it disrupts you or not. Certainly a little more challenging if that is happening, but that's your work, right? If you're in Shavasana and you're comfortable here, just stay here as long as you want. If you're ready to move on with your day, then start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, reach up over the head, lengthen through the right side of the body and the left side. Eventually hug the knees in, rock a little side to side, eventually up and down or all the way to one side, and meet in a comfortable seated position. So just how we started class, in that full lotus if you want. Maybe you're a little more open now and you can go into a full lotus. Otherwise, just a comfortable cross-leg position. Sealing our practice with a moment of gratitude. I thank you, each and every one of you, for joining me this afternoon, for always being open and receptive, always being that teacher and that student. May we make better choices each and every day and allow this practice to guide us to exactly what we need to be doing. Thank you. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Namaste.